John Pollock here at Post Wrestling. We are joined by Intercontinental Champion Gunther. And 4 years ago, over SummerSlam weekend, this man was in Toronto wrestling Daisuke Sekimoto. And here we are 4 years later. If I were to tell you at that point, 4 years later, here you would be in Detroit, living in the US no less. Yeah. Would you think this would be a pretty improbable outcome for you 4 years apart?
It wasn't the plan 4 years apart, I think. Like you said, I was busy wrestling Daisuke. It was a very enjoyable day, actually, in Toronto. I remember that. No, everything happened very fast now, right? But I'm happy where I am. I'm glad I made that step and how everything developed.
You spoke for a long time about sort of wanting to maintain your roots in Europe. Tell me now about moving over to the US, what that transition has been like just for your lifestyle and now that you have gotten acclimated living in a foreign country.
So, to be honest, I always kind of had it in the back of my head that at one point I will have to make the step over to the US because that's where wrestling is the biggest. But I feel like I waited it out. The timing on making that decision was very good, so everything fell in place at the right time. And as of now, we're very busy, so it's, how should I say, it's very little time often to digest what actually happens because it's always the next, on to the next. But it's been good so far. I'm really enjoying myself. My wife and I, we settled very well over here, and yeah.
We've seen you on television of late. You're getting a lot more speaking opportunities and doing a lot of things like this, media junkets and such. How have you felt about that aspect of things and comfortable doing a lot of this, and your personality coming out a lot more on television?
I mean, yeah, that's two different parts, like doing media and stuff like this. I've always done that, even before WWE. The company I worked for had those responsibilities a little bit. Obviously, it's way more now. I always liked doing that. I was never the biggest fan myself, personally, of like a lot of talking, a lot of promos and stuff like that, because I always loved and enjoyed the sports aspect of everything. But it's part of the deal in WWE, and that's sports entertainment. It's what we do. I think at the moment we do it at the very, very high level, and I do my part in it, and that's actually fun to do. Yeah.
I want to go back to WrestleMania and with yourself, Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus. What kind of pressure did the three of you, or at least yourself, go into with that match? There was a lot of high expectations for fans going in. It's WrestleMania, no less, in front of people, and you have to be going into that assuming like this is probably going to be my most widely viewed match. Tell me just a bit about the days leading up to that match.
I mean, that's all true that you said, but I gotta be honest, that was nothing that was my concern really before. At the end of the day, I always try to treat it, I go in there, I defend my championship, and I gotta come out with my championship, and I will do whatever's necessary to do that. And that's my main focus. I'm happy the process of doing that is exciting for everybody involved.
Do you go online after? Are you aware of like how much praise that match received, and sort of what is your process of like kind of deconstructing and looking back and knowing that like we really went out there and killed it?
Oh yeah, it's a great feeling, obviously. You check up on the feedback of the audience because that's who we do it for. But yeah, obviously it's a good feeling when your work gets high praise or recognition, and yeah, it keeps you going as well, obviously. If you figure out something you do works really well, you want to make it better, you want to perfect it a little bit more, you just want to advance a little bit the next time.
Being that it's been multiple years now, what has your working relationship been like with Paul Levesque and what he's meant for your WWE career?
I worked with him in NXT already, and actually when I signed with NXT UK back then, the first person I had like a sit-down talk with was, he was the guy. And it's funny enough, even because he was away for a little bit and they came back, like kind of like where he wanted me to be, actually everything happened over the years step by step. So I always got on good with him. From the beginning on, I got the feeling that he respects my work and he wants me on board. And yeah, I have a good relationship with him, I would say.
And just as we wrap up here, how much of the European scene are you still keeping up with? And I mean, you were such a huge part of that growth in that part of the world. Are you still keeping tabs on it and some of the talents that you were training and working with?
Oh yeah, of course. I have a lot of friends there still, and also like it was mostly WXW I did back then. I keep an eye on that a little bit and check base here and there because I spent so much time in my life with those people, and we built something that's still functioning and still give jobs to people, and obviously is still interested in what's going on there.
Last question, you have been able to just ascend the ladder in WWE. Do you sort of have like a new 1-year plan, 2-year plan? Like, are you just looking at like, I've reached this level, there's no reason I can't continue to go further?
I'm confident in myself, my skills, and what the future belongs, but right now my focus is tomorrow.
All right, we wish you all the best, and thanks so much for the time.
Thank you very much.